We're also going to be getting into the really big news. I'm just going to the first stack here in order. NFL bans Super Bowl gun commercial. It's too offensive, they said. We're going to play the ad coming up in the next segment for radio listeners and for TV viewers. And again, they can have violent video game ads. They can push all the military ads. You get to join the military to be a guinea pig and fight for the New World Order. They can have the total gangster culture of it. But you just want to have a pro-Second Amendment ad. No, you can't. And the NFL has signed on to push anti-gun and Obamacare as official sponsors. So I'm calling, and I want everyone to join me in an NFL boycott. And I got a lot of people that work at my office that watch NFL football. I get it. I played football. I know. I like it too. But if you don't boycott it, if my people can't boycott it, we have no future. If you can't sacrifice the stupid gladiatorial event that has stolen our manhood as a culture and turned men into a bunch of people that sit on their butts watching other men all day instead of being real men in your own life, then you deserve to lose everything, and you will. But I know most men who are even awake can't give it up. They cannot give up their male soap opera and watching all their boyfriends. Ask yourselves, what are you doing in this time of great challenge? What are you doing to unlock minds? Through Friday from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. We are here live by the grace of God. Back Sundays 4 to 6 p.m. with the Sunday transmission. Weeknight 7 o'clock, InfoWars Nightly News. Find showtimes and all the documentation at prisonplanet.tv. That's the subscription news site. Prisonplanet.com is the auxiliary mirror, but it's not really a mirror. It has a lot of exclusive news that InfoWars.com does not. And here we are on this Tuesday edition. Your phone calls are going to be coming up on the issues that I've raised. I'd love to get your take on many of the other issues I'm about to throw out. So let me cover some more of the news before I get into the NFL, censorship, and more. Then I'll dive back into that and give out the toll-free number again for first-time callers. And we tend to get a wave of callers that have been drinking cough syrup and are half awake, or we get super informed, awake callers. So I would like folks to call in, because we don't really screen the calls, who are not injecting heroin. So I'll be giving that phone number out coming up here in just a little while. I'm just joking around. Sometimes it's like incredibly dynamic, smart, informed callers who are willing to put up with being interrupted by me and sitting on hold. And then other times it's kind of like, huh, what? Oh, yeah, I really love you, Alex. I guess because they went on hold for 20 minutes. But we're going to give the number out coming up. Let me just continue reading some of the headlines here for folks. Female Fort Hood soldiers recruited for prostitution ring, trial hears. A 17-year veteran accused of using service set up by coordinator of base's sex assault and harassment prevention program. And they admit that they were using that program to coordinate the basically sexual exploitation of women. Statistically, in criminology, the CPS will have the highest level, Child Protective Services, of pedophiles. Statistically, you'll have the highest level of sadist in the police force. Statistically, you'll have an incredibly high level of child abusers in the truancy officer division. Statistically, you'll have a lot of drug addicts that are in the DEA or in the medical field. And you ask, why is that? They're always catching game wardens poaching stuff. Because they get into it because they're obsessed with it, and they want to be on the inside to carry out the criminal operations. That's why tyranny is such a problem historically, because even if you have a good government, people will become lackadaisical and trusting of it because it is a good government. The people will become prosperous and go to sleep and forget the lessons of tyranny, and then the corruption creeps back in, and then takes over, and then purges everybody, and then collapses, and the cycle goes on and on. Sometimes civilizations can jump the end of the cycle. You think we're going to jump the end of the cycle this time? No, I think it's going to be, in fact, I know it's going to be the final arbiter on whether humanity goes to the next level or whether we destroy the planet. So the big, giant challenge is here. Will we destroy ourselves with the advanced fission fusion, antimatter discoveries they've made on record, the artificial black holes they've been creating for 20 years, the super weapons, the bioweapons that kill 99% of all mammals they come in contact with, nanotech, GMO, cross-splicing hybrids of plants and animals and humans, pig-human hybrids, human-chimpanzee hybrids, been alive in laboratories on record for 20 years. Details remain classified. I mean, look, the elite are already living in the future. That's why they're so arrogant. Heaven knows what horridness they've created or mutated. I mean, the stuff we know is so Buck Rogers on PCP that I don't even know what to say at this point. Meanwhile, people are worried about Kim Kardashian and Kanye West and Justin Bieber. Literally projections of nothingness to make sure that you never figure out what's going on in the Matrix or on the island. This is not my opinion. This is 100% in all of their globalist publications. They sit around and brag how they were putting everybody... Edward Bernays wrote in the 30s how they were creating a false culture to literally envelop everyone to where people wouldn't even know they were slaves. And then you read his books, every page is how they launched this and how they launched that and how they did this and how they did that. And then you realize your whole culture, I mean, about half our culture literally was launched by Edward Bernays. America wonders why our culture took over. Not American culture that took over. It was globalist, weaponized culture that took over. Using America's good, rough name, trailblazing name, using the world's goodwill for us, packaged with a Trojan horse payload of scientific villainy. I mean, I start to think about it. It's just, I can't believe that we've even gotten to this point. But people buy into the fact that they're a conservative, or they're a liberal, or they support Obama, or they support Boehner. Well, I'm a mainline Republican. I get invited to the local Republican meetings, not like you bad patriot people that say we're under tyranny and don't act ladylike or gentlemanly. I mean, it's just... I mean, literally, you're talking to someone in the Matrix. It's like arguing with a schizophrenic homeless person who runs over to your car and starts cussing at you. It'd be like rolling the window down and getting out in a fight with them. Why don't you get out and get in a fight with a homeless person that cusses at you and says they want to kick your butt? But if some guy in a nice truck, well-dressed, rolls down his window and says, I'm going to kick your butt, I don't like you, you actually take it personal and go, I hadn't done nothing, I'll kick your butt. Because you care about what somebody who looks like they're informed says. You don't get upset by a poor schizophrenic person talking to themselves on the side of the street who sees you and makes eye contact and says, you killed my mother. Sometimes you even roll your window down and say, here's $10. Look, I'm your friend. I'm not the one. I don't want to hurt you. I've even learned how to talk to mentally ill schizophrenics. You just go, I'm not with the bad guys. You don't tell them, hey, you're crazy. You just go, I'm not with the bad guys. And that's kind of like how it is with the general public. Cop pulls me over acting all weird. I go, you know this is all your training, and I haven't done anything wrong. And you know this is foolish how you're acting. And I care about you and your family. Oh, okay, well, you can go. No one's ever even talked to them like that. I said I'd cover the news. Oh, here it is. Fort Hood soldiers recruited for prostitution ring trial hears. And it was the Women Abuse and Sexual Harassment Division. See, just like MSNBC runs the witch hunt for white racist, but they're actually perpetuating total racial division, it's the same deal. You run and promote the racism and the division so you can continue to manage it. Let's go to the next thing. I'm going to cover this later in detail because this is a big deal. I'll cover this at the start of the next hour because I actually can't believe this is actually debated by people. I hear this all the time. Are men and women different? I don't know. Gee, can I have babies? As a male, can I have a baby? No. Can a woman walk on to the Dallas Cowboys and then go play NFL level football? No. I've always explained this to everyone. Women have 3 times the connections between left and right hemisphere. This has been known for about 80 years. I'm going to show folks a document cam shot of this. But now the London Guardian is reporting on a big scientific brain scan study that we already know. Folks, when I've been in DARPA research laboratories that I was allowed into at the University of Texas, this is all they're working on, is how to program men and women. Down to subliminal messages in TV advertisements to sexually excite women and to create a sexual subconscious feeling, towards a particular type of fabric softener. Just like the beer ads, or drink this beer, beautiful woman show up. That's overt. It's total weaponized. And then you tell women, you're being targeted by mind control. Oh, shut up, you male chauvinist. I know how to be free. I keep men down. Oh, yeah. Really, they just broke the human family in 2, and then they've already won, dividing us at that point first. All the different TV shows show the woman getting in her man's face and putting him in his place, and that's how she's empowered. Oh, yeah, that's how women get ahead in this universe, is bringing their man down. And why do they target women? Because women are the heart of the family, the engine of the entire system. They target 80+% of advertising at women. Talk radio is different because males listen to information more. And that's in the study here. And they've weaponized, studied our brains, and they give men simulated war. We watch simulated football, and guys go, oh, Alex, I know it is, but I like it. And I'm like, it's mind control. The creator of the Olympics, French royalty, related to Napoleon Bonaparte, I forget the guy's name, who created the Olympics in 1914, he said, we'll use this as the new religion to enslave everyone. I mean, I read his writings. Look up the creator of the Olympics, the French nobleman, the French elitist, who Hitler was a big fan of later, by the way, and he adopted his designs and ideas. The point is that if you just type in the creator of the Olympics, it's the first thing comes up. It's a Frenchman. I just want to get his name. Again, this is the whole thing about history. They admit they've programmed everybody. That's what I keep trying to get to here. I'll go to Google. It's no big deal. Let's just see how fast I can get it. Oh, there it is. Olympic Games. Baron, it's too far away for me to read. Pierre de Coubertin. That's him. Baron Pierre de Coubertin. There you go. And, of course, he didn't invent all this. He just invented the modern inculcation of how the Romans used it and others used it. We need to use it. That's how we, basically. And, of course, they spin it when they write it up saying, the French lost World War I, he believed, which they really didn't lose, but no, he's talking about the previous war. The French lost a war with the Germans, I guess with Bismarck, because they weren't athletic enough and they needed to be tougher. But that was only on the surface of his writings. It doesn't matter. See, people ask why I go off in so many different directions. It's because it's all interconnected. And the male mind, on average, it doesn't mean that there aren't female minds who at strategy are just as good as any other man. It just means, on average, men have larger cerebral cortex. You understand that? Larger cerebral brain processing, and they have, on average, 3 times less connections between left and right hemispheres. So women have better intuition and a lot of other issues with a larger, deeper subconscious pool of race knowledge. But they're there to then choose men that actually will lead the tribe to a higher level. Then they choose their mate, generally. And it varies between different mammalian species, but it's generally the same. But in birds, other animals, it's different. And it gets into some really sophisticated areas. The whole point is that they've now jacked into women and give them false programming about what will make society successful, and that is bringing down men when they're actually bringing down themselves, their children, and the entire society. And it's all been done scientifically. See, I say I'm going to go to this news later, and I just start covering it now. But we could talk about this for years. And literally, when you talk about this, they have now and all these organizations that claim they represent women, who are really Rockefeller and CIA-controlled groups on record. Gloria Steinem admits she's CIA. and was there to get women into the workforce so they could get double taxes and break up the family. And again, it's not defending any other system that was there before. The point is that they claimed all this civil rights movement for women as a way to literally end the human species as we know it. And you can now see them doing it. And it's all weaponized. And literally people sit around and go, oh, no, women can be in combat just like men. Oh, no, women, in strategy are... No, they're not. None of the top chess players are women. And don't worry, the computers already beat all the men a decade ago, Deep Blue and all the rest of it. And they've also found, and there's genetic variations, but people that live in worse climates, especially freezing climates, genetically have the highest ability mathematically in test scores. Doesn't matter if you're a Russian from up, near the North Pole or from Northern Europe or wherever, or if you're Japanese folks up where it gets really cold. Back in the old days, especially in the last ice age, 10,000 years ago, if you made a miscalculation and stayed out past dark, you were going to die. They've done studies on people in northern climes with an inner time clock who actually can tell in studies what time it is. Because if you didn't, you were dead, ladies and gentlemen. And then they found in other environments and things, groups of humans that have more advanced faculties in other areas. Because humans have become specialized depending on what area they were in. And they don't want you to have strategy. They don't want you to have cunning. They don't want you to have an instinct to help others. They want you to have an instinct to bring others down, believing that that is going to empower you. And the only time that bringing others down to empower you is in the ancient system of you have an overpopulation area and you've got to take over someone else's agrarian farming belt to supply your population with food. But now with technology, we have unlimited energy structures if we decide to begin colonizing off-world. And that's the only step humans have left is to go to the stars, to look to the stars immediately. See, I'm just getting into philosophy. I mean, there's all this news out there, but of course the Pentagon has been forged into an imperial army to take over and abuse people and to carry out forms of evil. And the subconscious mind knows the mission is overall dehumanizing, so of course they're going to turn the women into camp hookers, named after General Hooker, who had large groups of hookers that they brought around to Northern soldiers. Of course they're going to do that. And then we've got such a dumbed-down population that they actually think it's sexist to say that men and women are different when men and women are as different as night and day. And that's why the night and day meet. And you can debate if a man is day or a woman is day or who's night. Doesn't matter. Because the human species is not a man. The human species is not a woman. The human species is the man and the woman. And the children and the journey we've had together to the entire development under God's watchful direction of this species towards the great challenge we now begin to arrive at in the 21st century. These are the real big ideas you're not meant to think about. This is what the controllers think about, and they've decided you're going to be dumbed down, you're going to be poisoned, so you're ready for extermination. You are being drugged and prepped and psychologically killed before you are being physically killed. Because if you have a spirit that's not poisoned, then you will see the evil and resist it. So they first have to sabotage your survival systems before they can physically kill you. Are we choosing our own destiny, or has it been pre-selected for us?
As we've moved through history, every great leader has had to understand the potential of information.
Billions of dollars have been spent, privately and publicly, looking at how to tap into your psyche.
From compulsory state education to the Hollywood media brainwashing machine, we are kept in perpetual bondage to the ideas that shape our actions.
When somebody obscures that feedback loop between you observing and testing it out and verifying it, they can take total control of your awareness.
All of this is happening so fast, you need to be ahead of the game.
How to engineer the opinion of the American people so that they would not only endorse but demand a war.
Oh, there's another one. Another plane just hit.
State of Mind, because there's a war on for your mind. Get your copy of State of Mind, the movie, at Infowars.com. And remember, every order at InfoWarsStore.com receives a free Citizen Rulebook. Talk about the idiocy and how the system continues to dumb the news down. We were watching Fox News during the break. We've got different establishment networks, state-run media systems on out there. And on Fox and here, they weren't saying ban energy drinks. I was watching CNN in there, and they were saying, get rid of them because they're evil. Let the government take them over or tax them. And then I came in here, and it was Fox News talking about how it makes the heart beat faster. Oh, we need a study for that? Actually, most of the studies show that moderate caffeine is actually good for the average person and their cardiovascular system. You can look those up if you want. Now, the argument is people are so sedentary that that's why it's good for them, that if you're really in good shape, it probably isn't good for you. But it's a very complex issue. The point is that moderation of coffee, the overwhelming evidence shows it's good for you. Just like if I could drink 1 glass of red wine a night, it would be good for me. The problem is I want to drink 5 glasses of red wine, hence I don't do it. And it doesn't matter. There's just so much news. I mean, I've gotten through like 1 stack. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more stacks. I haven't gotten into the Second Amendment thing. Adon Salazar's waiting to write an article about my announcement I'm going to make right now. And I'm going to shoot a video on this afternoon so we can have a special report running on the Nightly News and on YouTube. But, I mean, I've had enough of the NFL, and I think you've had enough of it as well. I mean, I'm sure you have. I see your emails. I see your comments. Pushing Obamacare, pushing anti-gun messages, officially signed on with the White House. They are using the Roman games to actually try to overturn the Republic. We don't have the Russians beaming propaganda in here saying, turn on your guns, Americans, or socialize your health care and bankrupt America. We have the NFL doing it. And I'm sick of watching egomaniac drug heads on a bunch of synthetic growth hormone and stuff, completely out of their minds, with their pit bulls and all the rest of it. I mean, I've already been boycotting the NFL for a long time, but I'm calling on everybody to boycott it. I mean, all I see men doing is fantasy football and bragging like it's battle strategy about knowing more than the coaches. That's why you're not doing good financially. It's why your country's been stolen. They're shutting the nation down. Don't you take that personal? You're under scientific, mechanized attack, and you really, really, really are an expert in simulated warfare with a bunch of arrogant gladiators fighting with each other. I mean, who cares? I'm boycotting it. Because if you go up to Infowars.com, we have the video. NFL bans Super Bowl gun commercial, says it's too offensive. Here is the ad from Daniel Defense that they say can't air. This is tyranny. Here it is.
It's been a long road getting here. And a lot has changed since I got back. Now this is the center of my world. And my family's safety is my highest priority.
He's a Marine who comes home to his family and his baby. This is what they call offensive. And it is offensive.
Responsible for their protection.
Because he's a man in charge on a team with his family.
And no one has the right to tell me how to defend them.
That's right. It's a good, clean message. That's why it's banned.
So I've chosen the most effective tool for the job.
Daniel Defense. Defending your nation. Defending your home.
Used by the military and used by American citizens. And because it's so clean, so pure, so good, it's banned. But you can have shoot-'em-up zombie games and fake war games and all the trash and Illuminati and women's breast hanging out on the NFL, but you cannot have good wholesomeness. Because that wholesomeness is high noon to these vampires. Why is nascent iodine so important?
Nascent iodine is so important because it goes directly to the thyroid. It's not bonded to a salt, which means it doesn't have to be broken down. and it's the most usable form. It's what the body uses. It's what the body is designed to use. If you have low energy levels, if you have pains, if you have thyroid problems, if you don't feel up to par, well, they've proven now that the fluoride and a lack of iodine causes a decreased IQ because you have all this stuff that builds up inside your system and builds up and builds up. And that's why some people, when they start taking iodine, will have what's called a Herxheimer reaction or a detoxification reaction. But that's a good sign. That means you're detoxifying all that fluoride buildup, the mercury buildup in there, the bromine buildup in your system, and the chlorine buildup in your system. You don't want those things. All of those things have been proven as carcinogens. That's one of the reasons prostate cancer is on the rise too, is because prostate takes up iodine, and the men that are lacking iodine causes the prostate to become cystic and causes the prostate to swell and eventually leads to prostate cancer. There's been an extreme rise in polycystic ovarian disease, PCOS, with women, fibrocystic breast disease, because iodine is stored in the breast tissue, the ovaries, the prostate glands in men. It's utilized by every single cell in the body.
Why does this almost taste good compared to other iodine that tastes horrible? That's because it's real iodine atomic form.
We wanted something that's going to go straight into the bloodstream and straight into the thyroid gland. We wanted to put it in a vegetable glycerin base. That's a USP kosher certified vegetable glycerin base. And that product is not tested on animals. It's vegan friendly. It's gluten free. It's GMO free.
Of all the things I've done, Nascent Iodine was just absolutely amazing. So we developed with Dr. Group a double strength, low price, InfoWarsLife.com Survival Shield, the Atomic Nascent Iodine, available right now. You know, I was just thinking during that little break about how arrogant the system is. They would never dare use the supposed American pastime of NFL football to have Illuminati ceremonies during every halftime with women's breast hanging out, Madonna crawling all over everything, acting ridiculous. They would never have Obamacare propaganda about how the NFL supports the president and the destruction of our already screwed up healthcare system by design. And now they won't let you run the most wholesome Daniel Defense ad where it shows a father driving home saying it took a long time to get here. He walks in the house and it's a picture of his baby, his wife, him in the Marine Corps. Comes in, he closes the door, goes in and kisses his wife, picks up the baby, and then it just cuts to a website, Daniel Defense. And they said, quote, "It's too offensive." You know why? Because it's a loving father coming in straight and strong with his wife and his daughter. And they're a team. You do not show that, period. This government is our enemy and is sworn to hurt everything good. My God, how obvious does this have to get, people? It's pure evil. You cannot show a father in a good light. You cannot show a man saying, I have a right to defend my family. No. You can put all the political commercials you want. You can have the Attorney General meet with the media heads and say, we need to have nothing but anti-gun messages in the public's mind. We need to brainwash these people. And then you have that incredibly wholesome ad, and it's got them pulling their hair out. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, I see people at restaurants watching stuff. I'm going to walk over and say, you know, they're anti-gun, and shame on you watching that. I tell you, these people are dumb. And I'm telling you, I absolutely hate these fake men that all they do is watch sports all day and brag how much they know about them. I mean, you people are literally living in a fantasy land. We are under attack. Every form of liberty is being gutted in front of us and chopped up. And you are literally watching modern sports designed to distract men. Because men are designed to be building and constructing and innovating and being leaders. But the average man is like a 10-year-old trying to be cool in Arrested Development, and so is the average woman. And that's really it. I don't like being in a culture of children. It's not an elitist statement about how grievously childlike in a bad way, like petulant 10 or 11-year-olds, the general public is, while while these idiots are pulling the political lever to disarm me, to destroy my private property, to destroy your private property, to wreck the engine of prosperity because the globalists want to run everything. And these idiots will giggle at you and say, I'm with the establishment. They think because they buy into it that they're now part of it when they're absolutely in the crosshairs, absolutely under precision, 200 IQ military attack. And by the way, I've studied some of the top technocrats. They are some of the most unhappy, horrible people. Most of their kids literally end up committing suicide or dying of cancer young. They are the most cursed people. But I can look in their eyes. They are crazed with the ice-cold love of power and death. And they're keeping people. They tell them, oh, you're supposed to be a teenager. Don't be politically involved. And then now, oh, you're supposed to be a kid till you're 25, and then you're supposed to make money, and then you're retired. Oh, I'm retired now. I'm not worried about that. Like being involved and being in the service of humanity is a bad thing. When it's what you're meant to do, it's what empowers you. And I just want to see humanity win. I'm on the team of Team Humanity against Team Technocrat. That's why I'm angry. You're playing games in the sandbox, folks, while the giant war of the heavens is going on all around you. We need people. We need a few good men.
Now you can watch Alex Jones live at Infowars.com/show.
You'll find links to all of our content there and a free 15-day trial for Prison Planet TV.
You can also browse the network, the InfoWars Nightly News,
and over 60 movies and documentaries all together in one place.
You can watch the Alex Jones radio show live as it happened.
So check it out, Infowars.com/show.